reflecting a lot just on the glories and the legacy of our gurus, Srila Bhaktivendanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, offering them a few words. Personally, I've been feeling extremely grateful for the beauty of this faith and this tradition. I'm fortunate to be a part of. It's very wonderful, very beautiful. I'm feeling very grateful. I've been practicing this since I was her age, in some way or other. We were at a program in Long Island, and we were talking about family and memories. And I was saying one of my earliest memories, being in red sweatpants and sweatshirt and doing arti at like 4 a.m. in our parents' home. Must have been 3 or 4. So, been doing this a while now. Hare Krishna, can I shake your hand? Shake your finger. So, it takes a lot of love and a lot of nurturing to raise a child. I'm definitely a child in bhakti. So I've been raised with a lot of love. And I'm very grateful to everyone who's helped in that, So everyone here. We are indebted to you all, to our elders, to our peers, and to our Shiksha, Diksha gurus, and all our mentors in the path. It's a very beautiful path. Something I was discussing in Croatia the other day is there's a very beautiful description of a conversation between Sri Radha and Sri Krishna in a wonderful book called Prem Samput, The Treasure Chest of Divine Love. One of my favorites. And Krishna is asking, it's okay, it's good. You need a heckler once in a while. Good. It's okay. Sorry to startle you. Everyone needs a good heckler once in a while. So, Krishna comes in disguise and asks Srimati Radhika, why does she love Krishna? This is in a book by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Why do you love Krishna? He's such a naughty boy. From his childhood. See, Krishna comes in disguise as this heavenly damsel. All the other gopis dress Krishna up to, because he doesn't know how to dress up himself that well. Definitely not the cowherd boys did it. So Krishna gets the gopis to help him. And he comes in disguise and says, "Oh Radharani, why do you love Krishna? He's such a naughty boy. I was in heaven with beautiful heavenly gardens, but I heard his flute and it captured my heart, and I came here to Vrindavan, and then I saw how he treated you, Radharani, in the rasa dance, and I thought, Radharani's love is so pure, so great, so selfless, so unconditional, and yet Krishna, how can you love him?" So I'm not going to go too deep into this story, but what Srimati Radhika says is, love is something that is experienced before it's understood. Pass the baby. Love is something that is experienced before it is understood. This is in this beautiful book. So Srimati Radhika says, actually, Prem, transcendental divine love, is something that cannot be understood with words. It's something that is only experienced. So Krishna thought, well, what am I supposed to do then? I have to experience it. Krishna is very, very intrigued by the nature of the love of his dear most beloved Srimati Radhika. He's very, very intrigued. There's so much to be said about this, but Krishna thought, I'll come again. I'll beg her for her own moods, the gift of her moods, the gift of her effulgence, her divine golden complexion. And then I'll come. So he came as Lord Chaitanya to experience what is the prem, or the love of Srimati Radhika. Mahabhava Swarupatam Shriradha Thakurani. That Srimati Radhika's love, even Krishna considers that it surpasses his love 1,000,000-fold. That's his conception, not our conception. Krishna says like that. So, Srila Gurudev would speak about this. Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidriso Vanayaiva Swadyo Yinadbhuta Madarima Kidriso Vamadiya Sokyam chasyamad anubhavata kidrisham veti lobat tad bhavadya samajani sachi garba sindhu harindu. This is Krishna's internal desire, the internal reason why he advented as Lord Chaitanya. Outwardly, he came, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Eva Kevalam, to propagate the Yuga Dharma, practice of this age, of chanting the names. What names of the Lord? Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga have different Mahamantras. But Kali Yuga is the Mahamantra of all Mahamantras, and it's specifically the names of Yugal Nam, the divine couple. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Lord Chaitanya himself chanted these names day and night. Swanama Sankhya Japa Sutradhari Chaitanya Chandra Bhagavan Murari. Krishna, Bhagavan Murari, the killer of ignorance, which is Murari. Murari is Krishna, the killer of ignorance, Murari, which is the real source of our suffering, separation from Krishna, ignorance of our relationship with Krishna. Lord Chaitanya is constantly chanting these names. And in the Goswami's commentaries, Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Raghunath Goswami, Srila Jiva Goswami, and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Jiva Goswami, you'll find beautiful descriptions of the meanings of this Mahamantra. But I'll touch on one very esoteric meaning. This is by Srila Raghunath Goswami. And he says that actually Srimati Radhika was first chanting this Mahamantra. And when she was chanting Hare, Hare we know is the vocative calling out to Sri Radha. Oh Hare, you who steal the heart of Hari, who steals the heart of the world. When Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivendanta Goswami Maharaj, he was giving all of us siblings names. I have 5 sisters. I like to quote them because I like to honor them, but it's very sweet also. But he gave my eldest sister the name Madan Mohini, which is an abbreviated form of Madan Mohan Mohini. So Krishna, the name Mohan means he who charms the whole world, the transcendental Cupid, who attracts even millions of Cupids, Madan Mohan. But Gurudev would say that Krishna who attracts the whole world, where does his power to attract everyone come from? Yes, it comes from his beauty, his qualities, his sweet flute playing. But those beautiful qualities of Krishna that attract the whole world are manifested in Vrindavan due to the effect of the divine love of Srimati Radhika. If you are looking at things in terms of cause and effect, we get into these age-old debates. Philosophy especially is all about debating things for thousands of years. Debating that which you cannot conclude. That which you cannot come to any conclusion to. That's the goal of philosophy. That's how you keep philosophers in business. Right? You keep philosophers in business because there's no ultimate conclusion. It has to be experienced. Srimati Radhika tells Krishna, all your philosophy, all of your thoughts, all of your ideas, no feeling, no rasa. Krishna without Srimati Radhika is no rasa, only tattva, gyan, dry. So, anyhow, Madan Mohini means she who bewilders even Mohan, Krishna. This is our Gaudiya vision, the vision of those in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, especially our Goswamis. That when Krishna lifts Govardhan, most people think, wow, Krishna is such a mighty hero, mighty warrior, enjoying the rasa of being the great Nayak of the universe, the great hero. And he's lifting Govardhan. And the cowherd boys are thinking, they don't think of Krishna as Bhagavan, so they think we should help him. So they all lift up their sticks and they help Krishna. And some of the elders think, oh, it is by the power of Lord Narayan that is coming through him, that he has this power to lift it up. Different gopis are thinking different things, but those who are the Sakhis of Srimati Radhika, her dear friends, they know, oh, Krishna, he is doing everything only by the power of Srimati Radhika. Only by her power. That's why he's using his left hand. On his left hand is left pinky. There's pinky. That's where Shakti, his Shakti resides. Now, Tattva, we can argue. Where is Srimati Radhika? Is she different from Krishna? She's his internal potency. We would say, yes, she is different. Her followers would say, of course, she is. Eternally. She is eternally herself. But she is also eternally non-different. How can you divide them? They are eternally not even twin flames. One flame, and the heat and the light is the energy, and the effulgence of the light. So that light of divine consciousness is Krishna, but his energy is Srimati Radhika. So anyhow, putting the tattva aside, we're just going to follow the current of Ras to the glories of Srila Rupa Goswami, which is also the glories of Srimati Radhika in our Guru Parampara. So, Srimati Radhika is chanting Hare and remembering her pastimes with Krishna. This is when we chant, as we progress in bhakti, we hear katha, we perform kirtan, which is japa and kirtan, and we gradually perform smaranam. Srimati Radhika herself is doing this. Hare Krishna. She thinks, how is it that you have stolen my heart? And so she says, because you are Krishna. It's not your fault. There's nothing you can do about it. When Krishna walks in Vrindavan, any stone he touches melts in divine love. Everything in the spiritual world has its conscious energy, spiritual energy. So nothing can halt its ability to come under the sway of Krishna's charmingness, his sweetness. So Srimati Radhika says, Krishna, you have captured my heart. You are all attractive. That's why. Then again she says, Hare. And she's remembering, oh Krishna, how did you steal our heart? You played your murali, your very sweet flute. You played the fifth note on your flute. When Srimati Radhika met Krishna in Kurukshetra, she told Krishna, please come back to Vrindavan. Why? I want to hear you playing your flute in the fifth note. Here in Dwarka, no rasa. What is the rasa here in Dwarka? Elephants, horses, chariots, crown. No rasa. What rasa? Opulence. Opulence. Lord Chaitanya, what did he say? Aishwarya Shitil Prem Nahi Mora Prita. All this worship in the mood of reverence doesn't fully satisfy my heart. So Radharani says, Krishna, to make you happy, you should come back to Vrindavan. You are suffering. Therefore we are suffering. In our line, our acharyas, they say, Shri Krishna virahe radhika radhasa amito sahite nari jugala milan sukera karan jivana charite pari. These verses show the moods of our gurus. They have no self-interest. Their only desire is to please Radha and Krishna. That's their only thought. How can I please the divine couple? How can I serve the divine couple? How can I bring the union of the divine couple? In our meditation, in our Goswami's teachings, the Maha Mantra, what we are doing when we are chanting, is serving to bring about the union of the divine couple. That's why we sit and chant. Oh, may Radharani not experience separation from Krishna. Oh, Hare. Krishna, may Krishna not experience separation from Srimati Radhika. May I serve. I have the privilege, the honor to serve their divine union. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. So Srimati Radhika met Krishna in Kurukshetra. Say, Krishna, our hearts have become one. There's a verse in Ramananda Roy Samvad where Ramananda Roy sings a song to Mahaprabhu, and as he's singing it, Mahaprabhu covers his mouth. As Mahaprabhu says, go higher, go higher, go higher. Like sometimes our Gurudev would sing and he would say, higher, higher. You know, the Australian tune especially. Hare Krishna. And then higher, and then higher, and then higher. And then finally, you know, Jai Jai Shri Radhe. So Lord Chaitanya would sing. Lord Chaitanya was saying to Ramananda, go higher, go higher. Finally, he went so high that Mahaprabhu covered his mouth. He said, beyond this, has to be realized, has to be experienced. Radharani said, Prem cannot be understood with your mind, with your intelligence, with your words. It must be experienced. And how can it be experienced? But by the association of that person who has it. So in that conversation, I know I'm jumping around, so forgive me. This is a non-linear Harikatha, non-linear thought. So Srimati Radhika in this conversation, Prem Samput, she tells Krishna, if you want to understand prema, which is your real question, you must always live with me. You will become my Saki, my friend. Don't go back to heaven. Don't go back to your opulence. Understand? Oh, all your opulence, your wealth, your position, this and that. Stay here with me. I'll make you my Saki. Oh, Lalita Vishaka, come, bring her a new sari. This girl is dressed with all her heavenly jewels and ornaments. You should bring her a new sari. So they brought her sari and everything. And Krishna said, just 1 minute, just 1 minute. No, it's okay. I can't accept any gift. Anyhow, finally he had to reveal himself. And they sang Jai Jai Shri. Everyone started to, they had a very sweet pastime. So anyhow, Srimati Radhika is saying this must be experienced. It's something that is understood through practice, through sadhana. So back to Mahamantra, back to Kurukshetra. Ramananda Roy's mouth was covered. Why? He was saying a verse where he's saying, Radharani said to Krishna, our hearts have become one. That means when Krishna is feeling separation, Srimati Radhika is feeling separation, then her manjaris are feeling separation. It's a natural state. But where is it coming from? What is Prem by definition, even though we cannot understand it, by definition, Rupa Goswami Pad says, that desire of your heart and soul manifested through your senses in the action to try to please Krishna in a favorable way. That is Prem. And therefore Rupa Goswami then describes what is pure bhakti. And our Gurudev quoted this so many times, and Swami Prabhupada quoted this so many times. If you search for Swami Prabhupada, which verses he quotes the most often, this Anyabhilash Shunyam verse, one of the most often quoted. And for our Srila Gurudev, it became like his thesis verse, Pure Bhakti Society. And Swami Prabhupada, Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavitamati, another verse of Srila Rupa Goswami, the thesis verse of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So Rupa Goswami Pad is our great acharya, our leader in our line. So we're getting there. So, Ramananda Roy said, their hearts have become one. And he refers to a Gita Govinda verse. And this beautiful Gita Govinda of Jayadev Goswami, this book, it is like the seed form of actually showing the service of the manjaris to Srimati Radhika. Before Lord Chaitanya came, it wasn't known that this service was available, that this potential was there for the soul, but it was indirectly hinted at. There were some hints. So Sri Gita Govinda has some of those hints. Why? The whole narrative is Srimati Radhika's dear friend, speaking with her, being her messenger, telling her what Krishna is doing, and helping her remember her meetings with Krishna and inspire her and soothe her heart, and then ultimately bring about her reunion with Krishna. And actually, even though this is very interesting because people ask me, before Mahaprabhu came, many people, even, sorry again if I'm jumping around, tell me if you want me to do it in a more linear fashion, but even before Mahaprabhu, people say, in the Ramayana, some sages prayed to become gopis. Not directly, but some sages were praying with this mantra, desiring the Supreme Lord as their beloved in Madhurya mood, in conjugal mood. And when Ram came, he said, no, I cannot give you this in this lila, but I will appear as Krishna and you can become gopis in Braj. And you can dance with me in the Ras Lila. And they appeared in Braj and danced in the Ras Lila. So some people say, Lord Chaitanya came to teach us, all these different rasas, Sakya rasa, Vatsalya rasa, Madhurya rasa, the different moods of relationship with Krishna and friendship and parental love and in conjugal love. So then what did Mahaprabhu give special? Because if you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, it said, Anarpita charim chirat karunaya vatirna kalau samarpaitum unatu ujjvala svabhakti shriyam. Especially our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivendanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj, he emphasized the glories of Srila Rupa Goswami as Srila Rupa Manjari and this Manjari Parampara as the special gift that Lord Chaitanya came to give. That Lord Chaitanya said, I'll get to that, but Lord Chaitanya, he wanted to distribute this. This is one of his reasons for coming. There's a beautiful verse there in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Raga Marga Bhakti Loke Korite Prachar. Rasika Shekhara Krishna Paramakarun Edvi Hetu Kara, that Krishna came to relish these rases, these moods, Prem Ras Niryas, Kurite Swadan, to taste it. Like I said, it has to be experienced. That Krishna could not understand the glory of Srimati Radhika's love, the sweetness in himself that only she experiences to the highest degree, and he wanted to propagate this. Right? In the end of the rasa dance, he said to the gopis, Swasadu Krityam, that I can never repay you. Your love is unprecedented. You are the topmost sadhus. Specifically, ultimately, he is referring to Srimati Radhika. And he wants to show her glories. And he wants to bring people into connection with her and desire to serve her. Right? So I just want to backtrack a little bit. In other sampradayas, they have this idea, we should, they think like, the soul identifies like Sri Radha to reach the Supreme, who is like Krishna. That's how they understand Gita Govinda in a metaphorical way. Like they understand Song of Songs in the biblical tradition. They think it's like about the relation of the soul to God. There's a tradition called the Radha Swamis. You heard of them? There's a temple near us in New York, like 30 minutes away, the Radha Swamis. And their whole idea is like we take shelter of Sri Radha to realize Krishna. This is their conception. The Nimbarka Sampradaya is similar conception. The Vallabha Sampradaya is similar conception. We must take shelter of Sri Radha. Without the shelter of Sri Radha, we cannot realize Krishna. They have this conception. You know what Prabodhananda Saraswati Pad says? He says that who would be satisfied with a drop of the sweetness of Krishna that they can experience as an individual Jiva Atma, forsaking the endless reservoir of rasa and divine love that is Srimati Radhika and her relation with Krishna. And that without taking shelter of Srimati Radhika, what can you realize of Krishna's sweetness? In science terms, although I've never thought of it this way before, I'll give you an example, right? How can we see the galaxy and all the stars, with our naked eyes? You look up at the night sky, what do you see? It's like far off, many lights. Maybe a little bit different shade, Mars, this and that. But you get a big telescope. Nowadays, they put these massive telescopes in the atmosphere, right? They spend billions of dollars on them so that you can perceive reality, heighten your senses, heighten your perception of reality. So many other lines say this. They say, without Srimati Radhika, how can you perceive or realize Krishna to his full extent? Right? However, we go to Vrindavan, right? We think, everyone loves Radharani in Vrindavan, right? Everyone loves Radharani. Everyone puts Radhe Radhe on all the trees, Radharani on all the walls, and you go around Vrindavan and Radhe 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 Radhe. Yes, this is our mood. It's enough. This is our goal of life, Radhe Radhe. Our goal of life is not chanting Radhe Radhe. This is part and parcel of our life. Our goal of life is serving the union of Radharani with Krishna. Many lines, they think Radharani is like that telescope that will allow us to perceive and relate with Krishna, and then we'll become gopis and enjoy with Krishna directly. And Gurudev said this is ultimately just calm. They don't understand. Gurudev in Vilap Kusumanjali speaks about this. You want to enjoy with Krishna like a gopi, but you don't know what is the nature of the gopis, how they are the personifications of pure prem, what is real sambhog ichamai bhakti. You don't understand it. So you're imposing your material desires for enjoyment upon that. And it becomes sahajya. This is what Gurudev would say. He said, this is not our Mahaprabhu's mood or gift. You go on Vrindavan. If you go to Vrindavan now and you join a group, they'll be chanting Radhe Radhe, Radhe Radhe, Shamilai. He knows it because his name, right? Yeah, I know that one. Gurudev would say, that's not our mood. Radhe Radhe is not a means to an end. Right? This is what people think. Radhe Radhe is a means to an end. This is not Gita Govinda. Jayadev Goswami, he understood. But it wasn't yet time to reveal it. Jayadev Goswami, he understood. And then Madhavendra Puripad fully understood. He was fully in that mood. Shri Madhavendra Puripad is considered the root of the tree of Krishna Prem. He would chant Aya Dina Dayardanata He, like purely in the mood of Srimati Radhika. So Gita Govinda, if you read it, what's the mood there? Not how will I. It's not Radharani's friend saying, yes, Radharani, don't worry, Krishna left you should leave him so that I can go and meet with Krishna. It's not the mood. There's 3 characters in Gita Govinda, right? 3 primary characters in Gita Govinda. Srimati Radhika is the primary character. She's the real subject. You know, Krishna is not the subject. Srimati Radhika is the subject. Krishna is, in this case, not Vishai. He's Ashray. He is the supreme Vishai. But in their pastimes, Sri Rupa Goswami, he says, the highest perfection that Krishna relishes is not being the Vishai, taking on the position of the Ashray. This is also in Ramananda Roy Samvad, in the mood of Prem, Vilas, Vivarta. How can I be in that subordinate role? And Rupa Goswami Pad, he describes that. What is Krishna's term in relation to that mood? Dear Lalita Nayaka. That Krishna, he becomes very sweet, very charming, and also very submissive. This is also there in the Ras Leela description, and in Gita Govinda, a little bit is there. How is that? Gita Govinda verse 10.8. It's an easy one to remember. 108. So in 10.8, what is the famous verse? Smara Garala Kandanam Mama Sirasi Mandanam Dehi Pada Palavamudharam. That Krishna is, and we know the story, so I'm not going to go through the details. We want to get to Sri Rupa Goswami Pad. And the night will run away from us very quickly. So, Krishna is placing his turban, his peacock feather, his head at the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika. Saying, oh Shri Radhe, please don't forsake me. Please accept me. Let me serve you. And Srimati Radhika says, yes. And then her friends, Srimati Radhika's dear Nitya Sakis and Prana Sakis, that means her manjaris, they will provide Krishna with a very beautiful, very delicate flower or feather pen with different mineral ointments, and Krishna will decorate Srimati Radhika's lotus feet. Srila Gurudev tells a pastime. Krishna's, this is a very high topic, but you're all very advanced senior devotees, and we're glorifying Srila Rupa Goswami, so this is part and parcel. So Krishna is attempting to write his own name on her lotus feet. The Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right, we chant, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadi Adi Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. The cause of all causes, the beginning without beginnings, the controller of all controllers. That's Supreme Absolute Truth, Sri Krishna Govinda Haribo. He is attempting. He's in that attempt to write his own name on Srimati Radhika's lotus feet. And his hand is quivering and shaking. And Srimati Radhika smiled and said, you cannot do it. Give it to my friend. Right? In Gita Govinda, it's describing there's one very nice friend. That means we don't have time, but in Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's book, Sri Sankalpa Kalpa Dhruma, it's described how this can be understood as, for the gurus in that mood, in that line, Guru Saki and Guru Parampara. That's the personal relationship. So they have to continue that. And Raghunath Das Goswami writes like this in his book, and he says, as he's seeing that vision, it disappears, and then he comes back to his external senses, and he laments and chants, Ha Radhe, Radhe, Radhe. So, very sweet pastimes. But the emphasis here is, Krishna is now Ashray mood. That means Krishna is observing the glory of his beloved's superlative love. One of the beauties of Sanskrit is that there's very detailed definitions. For example, this is a funny one, right? I haven't experienced this, I've heard, in certain countries like Greenland, they have 50 words for snow. Makes sense, right? Lots of snow. Who named it Greenland? Who knows?
It used to be green.
It used to be green, yes, before the ice. Anyhow. So, you understand? The more you're around something, the more you have to be, clear in its definitions. So that land of divine love has many definitions of the degrees of love. And Krishna's degree of love as Vishai, he cannot understand to the extent or experience that love to the extent that Srimati Radhika does. It's not possible for him. He is Vishai, that means all Jiva's souls are in love with him, indirectly or directly. Everything in existence is searching for Krishna, directly or indirectly. Krishna's name means all attractive. That means the whole universe is held together by Krishna, by its attraction. Karshani Shakti means gravity is Krishna. Gurudev would say, sometimes when I get into it, I give very ADHD classes, so I have my school teacher here to witness that. Sometimes I try to go linear and sometimes ADHD. So Gurudev would say, you throw up a rock, where does it go? Back down to the earth. It's attracted to the earth. Even in material elements, there's that nature of attraction. You light a candle, the flame goes towards the sun, it's attracted towards its source. Water is searching for its reservoir, its lake or its ocean. The smaller is attracted to the greater. It wants to rejoin its essence. Right? So everything's attracted to Krishna directly or indirectly. Our gurus would say, okay, you can understand like this, Pavitra, anything you want in life, it's one of the highest part of that comes from the quality of Krishna. Okay, this is described in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, okay? So your 3 verses to learn tomorrow. He wants to travel and preach. I said, first you have to agree to learn 3 verses a day, make your father come with you, and pay for it. Okay? Then you can be the preacher and I'll be your mridanga player. Okay? So, in 10th chapter Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, all my vibhutis, all my opulences, even the demigods, Indra, Varuna, Vayu, Kuvera, they're all my opulences. Everything wonderful in this world. Even you, Arjuna, the best of the warriors, you are my opulence. Whatever might you have is mine. There's so many stories about this. When Arjuna, Krishna was Arjuna's charioteer. And then at the end of the battle, Krishna said, okay, now you get off the chariot first, then I'll get off. And Arjuna was thinking, I just won the whole war. Krishna's acting as my charioteer. He should get off first. I'm the hero. And Krishna said, you know what? This is not a time to see who's mightier. It's a time to just follow my advice. You remember what I said in the Bhagavad Gita? You remember how afraid you were of me? Just listen, please. So Arjuna gets off. The moment Krishna gets off, the chariot bursts in flames. Gurudev described like that. Why? Everything is held together by Krishna. And, Hanuman was also on the flag. Arjuna, he said, I'm just giving you the credit because I like glorifying my devotees. I'm letting you be the great hero. Anyhow, everything wonderful, everything glorious, Krishna said, it's just a spark of my splendor. So everything's attracted to Krishna one way or another. So Krishna is enjoying that position for all souls in the spiritual dimension, in love with him and relating with them in all rasas, Vatsalya, parental love, Sakya-ras, friendship, Shantaras, Dasya-ras, and Madhurya Ras, and so many gopis, so many queens in Dwarka, so many personalities. But Srimati Radhika is one-pointed. No interest. Anything but. Not even to understand the nature of Prem, we also have to understand Srimati Radhika has zero, infinitely zero desire for her own happiness and enjoyment. Zero. It's impossible to understand with our mind and senses because self-interest is woven into our DNA practically. We cannot even conceive of that. We can conceive of it, but we can't truly practice it until we really take shelter of those who have those pure moods and receive their grace. Gurudev would say it comes from mercy. It's also what Srimati Radhika said, mercy through association. As a schoolboy, again, an ADHD jump, in Houston, 2004 or 4, I think. We were in a darshan in Houston with Gurudev, and Nitya Prabhu, he asked, Gurudev, how can we get your mercy? And Gurudev, he was in a funny mood with all his kids, there's many of us. 2004, 2005, which are the years we went twice. Gurudev said, my mercy is flowing like the river. You just jump in. My mercy is my association, my teachings. You follow them and you remember me, you will receive my mercy. Like you want the mercy of the sun, all you need is to go into the sunlight. And even if you're hiding from the sun, we receive indirect mercy through any light. So I remember Gurudev then he said, Nitya Prabhu said, okay, so really so what do we do next? And Gurudev said, you should eat very nice food all the time. And you should dress like a king, very opulently. Dress very nice clothes and eat very good food. And we're like taking notes, you know? Yes, Gurudev, yes, Gurudev. And Gurudev smiled and laughed. He said, no. Ultimately, you should try to become like Raghunath Das Goswami. And he quoted the verse that Mahaprabhu told to Raghunath Das, Bhalo na kaibo, bhalo na paribo, amani manad hoy, Krishna naam sadhalabe, braje Radha Krishna manasi seva koribe. You should try to live simply. This is the essence of simple living, high thinking. Simple living, high thinking. Mane nija siddha deha korya bhavan, rata vidina Radha Krishna korya chintan. Ultimately, there's a lot of sadhana, yam niyam, before you can even attempt that stage, but ultimately that is the direction that is aimed at by our Goswamis, by our gurus. Okay? So we have to come to the glories of Rupa Goswami. What time is it? Okay. Why I'm glorifying Srimati Radhika is the glories of the manjaris, really their glories and Srimati Radhika's glories, they're like interwoven. Their moods are interwoven. Their hearts are interwoven. That's the glories. That's considered the highest possible attainment of the jiva. For those rare souls who have that quality in their intrinsic nature as jiva soul, like we hear by Bhaktivinoda Thakur and our Goswamis, right? What is that jivera swarupa hoy? What is in our swarup? Gurudev would say like a seed. So if we have that quality in our seed-like nature of a soul, that potentiality to be in that relationship, then who becomes the subject? Krishna is the subject. Of course, he is the supreme Vishai. But it's said in Goloka Vrindavan, in Gokul Vrindavan, subject and object become like one. So Krishna, he takes the role of Ashray. Srimati Radhika takes the prominent role as Vishai. Especially for those who are serving in the footsteps of Srila Rupa Manjari, who are Rupa Nuga Vaishnavas, for them Srimati Radhika is the subject. Like Raghunath Das Goswami, he prays in Manashiksha, Madisa na tatve brajapipina chandram. Who is Krishna? If you ask Rupa Manjari, who is Krishna? What will she say? Oh, he is the beloved of my Swamini. Krishna is the beloved of my Swamini Srimati Radhika. That is Krishna. So, Mahaprabhu came to give this. But, how will he give it? You can only give what you have. So Mahaprabhu didn't directly come to give this. Mahaprabhu came to relish this. Gurudev said, to relish unata ujvala rasa, that perfect highest mellow. That's why Krishna came. But swabhakti shriyam, to distribute this swabhakti, this highest mood of pure love, he came to inspire, to engage, to, without Krishna's desire, Krishna is pure desire. Srimati Radhika is the divine source of all energy that fulfills Krishna's desires. So Krishna had the desire to give this. Then Srimati Radhika and her associates came to do it. When Krishna was first thinking to come as Mahaprabhu, he said, "Oh Radhe, I will come again." He had a dream once. This is in Nidhivan. Nidhivan in Vrindavan, the beautiful temple near Seva Kunj. It's where Radha Krishna performed their Naisha Leela, nighttime pastimes. So one time Radha Krishna were in their kunj, resting, and when they woke up, Radharani had a dream. And she said, "Oh Sham, I had a very amazing dream. I saw this beautifully effulgent golden personality dancing on the banks of a beautiful river. And I'm only attracted to you. My heart is only for you, so I could not understand. My heart was naturally attracted to this person, but I could not understand. Is this you? Or is it me?" Who is that person? I thought, this is not me. I would know. But I could not understand. I was confused. And Krishna smiled. He said, yes, I was also having that dream, more or less. That is my desire. You're having a dream of my desire. Understand? Srimati Radhika, your dreams, what is Radharani thinking? Krishnanushilanam bhaktiruttama. What is Krishna consciousness? Krishna consciousness is the flow of the heart of Srimati Radhika and her moods and desires to please Krishna's. That is Krishna consciousness. See the definition? Krishnanushilanam bhaktiruttama. Gurudev would say Krishna anushilanam or Krishnanushilanam. In the Sanskrit, which is the Rupa Goswami's definition of pure bhakti, the A is long. Krishnanushilanam, which is the name for Sri Radha, like Shama, Shama. Shama, Shama, Sham, right? So, but it's for Krishna. It's Krishnanushilanam, like when we chant Hare Krishna. Hare is the name of Sri Radha. But those who don't respect Sri Radha, they think Hare is actually just Hari. They will say, oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And they say, yes, we chant like Hare, but really it's Hari. This is not actually there in scripture. Hare is Sri Radha, so absorbed in Krishna's happiness that she is now called Hare. Her name is Hare because in her heart and soul, in her moods, she is nothing but that Mahabhav, which is that ecstasy that comes from the desire to satisfy the beloved of one's heart, Shri Krishna. Therefore, Chaitanya Charitamrita Mahaprabhu says, while glorifying Srimati Radhika in Shikshastakam verses, he quotes this verse, and Sri Damodar quotes this verse. Rajani apani sukh, sabi vancha tara sukh, amar tatparya. I don't know my own happiness. This is the mood of Srimati Radhika. This same mood then reflects and comes into the manjaris. Then the manjaris have this mood towards Srimati Radhika and Krishna. Radhika becomes the primary subject for them. That's why they are Radha Snehadika. This is only there for the Nitya Sakis and Prana Sakis. Of the 5 kinds of Sakis, Parama Prista, Priya Narma Sakis, their mood is Sama Sneha. They have equal affection for Krishna and Srimati Radhika, but they tend to be partial to Srimati Radhika. Lalita, Vishaka, and some are more partial to Sri Radha, like Lalita, and some are a little bit more equal, like Vishaka. Although Vishaka is more partial because she's Radharani's friend, but still, anytime Krishna needs help to break Srimati Radhika's man, he takes shelter of Vishaka. He can never take shelter of Lalita to break Radharani's man. If Krishna goes to Lalita to break Radharani's man, Lalita just, increases the temperature. Lalita is so strong. She's older than Srimati Radhika, and she has the position to even call Srimati Radhika a Kalankini.
What is that?
You're not old enough. Anyhow, it's nothing bad. It's just sweet. You can read Lalita Astakam to understand. Okay? In Lalita Astakam, Srimati Lalita Devi will say, oh, Kalankini. Don't easily forgive Krishna. So Vishaka, she has so much affection. Her heart is very soft. And she wants Krishna to meet with Sri Radha. So she'll help him pacify Srimati Radhika and arrange different ways for that. But manjaris, Sri Rupa Manjari, Lavanga Manjari, Karpura Manjari, Kanaka Manjari, Kasturi Manjari, Kamala, all are guru-varga, most. They will not do anything separate from the desire of Srimati Radhika. They become completely Tadatma, completely one at heart. So, I want to tell one story about Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami. And then you can stop whenever you tell me to stop. Anyhow. So, what are the glories of these manjaris? This is the glory of Rupa Goswami. Mahaprabhu wanted to distribute this, but he had to take the help of those who actually have that. Right? Those who have it can give it. Gurudev would say, you can only give what you have. Sometimes people would ask Gurudev, I want to preach so much, I want to do this, I want to do that. Gurudev would say, yes, do bhajan. Then you can do it. Without bhajan, what can you do? Nothing will change. You say, oh Gurudev, I will do this, I will do that, I will do this. He said, very good. Do your best. But really, you should try to do sadhan bhajan. So, Mahaprabhu, when he got Gopal Mantra from Ishwara Puripad, he first started to relish and experience the moods of Srimati Radhika. Why? Ishwara Puripad, his guru, is disciple of Madhavendra Puripad, who also had this mood, this Radha Bhav. Gurudev says that the manjaris, they also experience Srimati Radhika's Mahabhav. As Gurudev says this. What is that Mahabhav that Krishna cannot understand? The manjaris experience it. Because what is their mood? Tat tat bhavichamai. They have no desire separate from Srimati Radhika. She is their supreme subject, object of worship. She is their Ishtadev. For the manjaris, Krishna is not Ishtadev. This is very difficult for most Sanatana Dharma practitioners. Very, very difficult. Most Sanatana Dharma practitioners, they respect Srimati Radhika, or they respect Shakti, Lakshmi, Sita, and so forth to some degree. Look at, Shakti, many people, demonic people, are always, critical mind towards Ishwar, and even more critical mind towards Shakti. We'll see Ayodhya, how they treated Sita. How they treated Sita Devi. There's stories about this. This is very bad, this demonic nature. Ravan, he's a demon, so he kidnapped her. And Ram easily killed him, and it nourished their lila. But when the Ayodhya Basis criticized Sita, that is not nourishing their lila. It's a worse offense than Ravan. I haven't heard this before. This is my speculation. I have to give disclaimers. Right? That Lord Ram, came back with Sita Devi, who is Shakti Tattva. Shakti Tattva has Shakti Parampara. Uma Rama Satya Sachi Chandra. All the Shakti Parampara comes from Shri Radha. All the Ishwar Parampara comes from Krishna. Right? Srimati Radhika is Paramishwari. So the Ayodhya Basis were criticizing Ram for accepting back Sita because of their polluted mind, polluted nature. They don't understand what is the nature and the moods of Shakti. So anyhow, this is the nature of people in this world. They don't understand. Even Srimati Radhika they criticize. In Jaipur, they wanted to take her deity off the altar. She was with Krishna in Jaipur. Janava Mata Thakurani, Nityananda Prabhu's Shakti, who is Ananga Manjari, she manifested all the deities of Radharani and Braj. Before, Krishna's grandson, he made Krishna deities Mathura, Dwarkadish, Govardhan, Haridev, and different places. Kamyavan also, before Vrindavan. But only when Krishna was there. This is a very new thing. We shouldn't take this for granted, like our Srila Bhaktivendanta Swami Prabhupada. All around the world, he very prominently established Sri Radha with Krishna. And then Sita Devi with Lord Ram. Why Swami Prabhupada so expertly brought everything together under one umbrella? Because over time, the future will be that the primary branch of all bhakti in Vaishnavism already, not even will be, already is ISKCON. We can say like that. We can have the boldness to say. It's true. Not only should we have the boldness, why? The Swami Narayan branch of the Sanatana Dharma tree is also very strong, but they see Swami Narayan as Ishwar directly. It's not directly Vishnu Bhakti, indirectly. Anyhow, we don't want to criticize. But ISKCON will be the primary branch. Why? Why? Prabhupada brought it all together. And yes, you can worship this, you can worship this, you can all the different, but Radharani will always be with Krishna. Why? Even in London, Krishna's name isn't there. Radha, London Ishwara. Indirectly, it means Radharani is the Ishwar of London. Okay? Sri Radha, London Ishwar, in the masculine case. She is the supreme power. Sri Radha, London Ishwara. Yes, Krishna is London Ishwar, but anyhow, don't want to get too in trouble.
Radha is the Ananda of Gokul. Gokul
Ananda. Anyhow, it's a very subtle thing. But this is part and parcel of our Gaudiya conception. What is the glory of the position of Srimati Radhika? So, briefly, I'll just touch on the glories of Srila Rupa Manjari with this. When Mahaprabhu took this Gopal mantra, he was chanting it, he became like a madman. We hear this in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Charitamrita. He came back home and he was a completely different person. And everyone said he's gone insane, he's gone crazy. He has Vata Rog. When someone has too much Vata, And they're just, their brains like exploding. Vata rog. So Mahaprabhu was like that, madman. And then very quickly after that, you look at how his pastimes changed. He became so mad, it was like all the incarnations of the Lord were popping out of him. Right? 21 hours of ecstasies. He became so mad in this Radha Bhav. Just like the first taste of it, the first, teaser of it, that he's exhibiting all symptoms of ecstasy and all different avatars, and everyone's giving him abhishek, and he's giving his mercy. And then very quickly after that, he sees people cannot understand. I will take sannyas. He takes sannyas. He's on the way to Vrindavan. Lord Chaitanya wants to go to Vrindavan. That was his mood. Why? In the mood of Shri Radha, when Radha Rani, she never left Vrindavan, only to go to Kurukshetra. And when she was in Kurukshetra, what was her description of Krishna? Come back to Vrindavan. That was all she said. Krishna, come back to Vrindavan. Vrindavan is my heart. Here, all this opulence and reverence and all these different mixed moods, I cannot fully satisfy you. This is what I was saying before. There's no self-interest, only Krishna's interest. Krishna, I know you are all night making your pillow wet, calling Radhe Radhe. Our Gurudev would say like that. In Dwarka, Krishna, this is described there. The queens, they're sleeping with Krishna in bed. Rukmini in her palace, Satyabhama in her palace, Jambavati in her palace. And Krishna expanded into all these 16,108 forms. And all those 16,108 forms, Krishna is crying at night into his pillow. Radhe, Radhe. Our Guru-varga described. So they're thinking, what is this? Who is this Radharani? They're feeling some little jealousy. But Radharani tells Krishna, I know you are not happy completely without me in Vrindavan. Even Prem Samput, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says like this. Krishna says, oh Radharani, I'm sometimes here, I'm there, I leave Vrindavan, I do this lila, and I know I cause you so much pain. I know. It's okay. Thank you. I know, Radharani, I cause you so much pain, therefore I come, and I'm telling you, oh, why do you love me? I don't understand this. Shri Radha Pranaya Mahima. What is the glory of your love? Why do you love me, Radharani? She said, oh, one day you may understand. But everything I do is only for your happiness. Even all the other gopis who are meeting with you, I know you're only fully satisfied with me. That's why I have man. I get upset with you because I know everyone you're with, you're actually thinking of me. You're doing it to please, look, every jiva, Krishna says, I reciprocate. Mama vart manu vartante, manusha partha sarvasa. I reciprocate. Krishna promises to reciprocate. So every jiva, oh Krishna, I want to be your girlfriend. Oh Krishna, I want to be your girlfriend. Oh Krishna, I want to be in every universe. They all get a chance to come and dance in Ras Leela, and Krishna will embrace them. Krishna's so sweet, when Krishna's dancing the Ras Leela, so much sweat comes on the foreheads, and Krishna will take his pitambar and wipe their forehead and put his arms in their neck. And it said even Lakshmi Devi is jealous of that position. The jiva souls who achieve Swarup Siddhi, come into Braj, Vastu Siddhi, and take birth from the wombs of the gopis, but yet have not come into the shelter of the Nitya Siddhas, and haven't developed desire to be manjaris of Srimati Radhika, they're still not really thinking of her. They're thinking, me and Krishna. And it's pure, it's great, they're liberated souls. It's not pure Uttama Bhakti. Why? How can it fully satisfy Krishna? Krishna can only be fully satisfied with Srimati Radhika. Only she, right, we say, Ananda Chinmaya Rasit Pratibhavita Bisthabirya Eva Nija Rupa Taya Kalabi. Only Srimati Radhika has that skill, that expertise, that art. So therefore, Mahaprabhu is now mad. And he's wandering towards Vrindavan. Why? Radharani said, come back to Vrindavan. So Mahaprabhu is thinking in the mood of Radharani, I must go back to Vrindavan, I must go back to Vrindavan, I must go back to Vrindavan. I want to tell this one example, and then we'll conclude. Even though we're just starting. But anyway, what to do? We have to do Rupa Goswami Saptaha. So, Mahaprabhu is trying to go to Vrindavan, but Nityananda Prabhu arranged that he came back to Shantipur. From there he goes to Puri. From Puri, when he's again trying to go to Vrindavan, he takes his whole entourage, like Navadvip Parikrama, 1,000, 15,000, 20,000 people. But as Mahaprabhu is on his way to Vrindavan, he makes a detour. And he goes towards Ram Keligram. This is where Srila Rupa Goswami Pad and Srila Sanatana Goswami are playing the role of the Prime Minister and the Secretary of the King. Who? Rupa Manjari and Lavanga Manjari. Srimati Radhika's very dear maidservants. 7, 8, 12, 13, according to different times, their age. But very intelligent, very stately. Why? Swami Prabhupada said, devotees should also take up government positions. Right? This is our parampara, We have Tulsi Gabbard, Devotees should also take up position. Why? Rupa and Sanatana Goswami were that. Ramananda Roy was also in the government. Right? Yeah.
He's governor of the Godavari province.
Yeah, so Pavitra, if you don't want to become a sannyasi, you can also try to be prime minister.
It's too hard.
He's talking about all his career paths today. Be yourself, okay? Okay, take advice from your aunties and uncles. And the best advice you can have is be yourself and discover who your highest self is. Okay? Don't worry about anything else. So anyhow, Mahaprabhu didn't go to Vrindavan. He wanted to find the people who will distribute this Swabhakti Shriyam. And he's in a transcendental state of madness, so he's wandering here, wandering there. But he comes and he meets, see? Why did he go and meet Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami? Even if you could say, it's Mahaprabhu, this and that, he was on the way to Vrindavan. Mahaprabhu is following his divine intuition as well. He's following his heart. He meets with them and he says, come with me, come with me, come with me. He met Ramananda Roy, come with me, come with me. He collected all his friends. Swarup Damodar was already his friend from childhood. Gadadhar Pandit, already his friend from childhood. But he collects, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and all these different personalities. But especially, he wanted to collect these beautiful young men, Sri Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami. Why? He understood they will fulfill his heart's desire. That's why we glorify Rupa Goswami. How? Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadhati Swapadante. Narottam Das Thakur glorifies Rupa Goswami fulfilled the heart's desire of Mahaprabhu. What is that heart's desire? What is that Raga Marga Bhakti Loke Kodite Prachar? What is that mood of spontaneous love he wants to distribute to the world? That is how to take shelter of the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika and serve her, please her. This is Gita Govinda also. The highest conclusion, Gita Govinda. Why? Krishna inspired that it will be verse 108, 10.8. 10.8 Gita Govinda is, O Radhe, please let me serve your lotus feet. I offer my head at your lotus feet. I am dear Lalit Nayaka, you are Swadhina Bhartrika. That means Radharani is now in the controlling, mood. That she is controlling Krishna's heart. Krishna said, Radhikara prema guru ami shishyanat sada amanananatta nachiudbad. O Radharani, your love is my guru. I am dancing like a mad fool only to you. When Swami Prabhupada came to Boston Harbor, he wrote a beautiful prayer. That Radharani kripa habe. If Radharani is merciful, then, Krishna will give his mercy. But Radharani must be pleased. Radharani must be happy. So this is Krishna's mood, Lord Chaitanya's mood. So he wants to collect those associates. I'll fast forward. When Rupa Goswami was in Rath Yatra, this is showing how important it was. Mahaprabhu is singing a mundane love song in front of Jagannath. And everyone is again criticizing, sannyasi, singing this love song, singing the top of the charts for love poetry and Rath Yatra, singing Chandidas Vidyapati, not even Chandidas Vidyapati. Some poet was saying, I am that same lover, you are my same beloved, but I just want to be back in those days when we were on the bank of the Vitasi River in each other's arms. I want to be back. And people think he's sannyasi? 26, 28, 30-year-old sannyasi? Saying like that? Today I was at the manor and someone was saying, kind of young for a sannyasi. What to do? Gurudev's, don't blame me. Gurudev, since I was a kid, he's like, become a brahmachari. So, anyhow. I always think of myself as a late bloomer. So I lived in the temple for 16 years, and then I lived in the West, 5 years preaching. Then after 20 years in the temple, I took sannyas. So for me, I'm a late bloomer, you know. Swami Prabhupada, he gave sannyas to like a 22-year-old after 2 months in the temple.
Who was that?
There's a few, there's many. Few. There's a story, very sweet. He was in the temple for like 3-4 months out of the Bowery, you know. Lower East Side. Here's sannyas, go and save the world, you know. So I'm a late bloomer, actually.
He gave the example like in a war, you give
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
commission to...
Yep.
like,
Sergeant from a
battlefield
private.
Commission, you upgrade.
Battlefield commission, yes.
Promotion.
Charging. They say fools rush in, so count me a fool. But it's, you know, Gurudev, it's, whatever is Gurudev's desire. Or I'm sorry if I make too many mistakes. Anyhow. So, concluding. Rupa Goswami understood the heart of Mahaprabhu and wrote this beautiful verse about the moods of Srimati Radhika and her words to Krishna in Kurukshetra. These kinds of moods that were never in the world, never understood properly. Who can understand but has it? Only someone like Rupa Goswami, like Rupa Manjari, can really understand Srimati Radhika's heart, because there's no separate interest. Only how to serve and please her, not even in relation to Krishna, separate interest. Even though there is Krishna Priti, love for Krishna, Krishna Rati, like Rati Manjari means Rati, attraction. To who? Krishna is all attractive. But only in the mood of service to Srimati Radhika. Therefore Krishna, he becomes, when he is thinking Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima, what is the glory of your love? To understand that, Radharani said, you cannot understand. You have to experience it. And you know, how much will she tell him about her own heart? You really want to understand her moods, her hearts? Go to someone who knows her hearts, her moods fully, and has her permission to describe it to you. Right? So that is Shri Rupa Manjari, Shri Rati Manjari, Lavanga Manjari. So they would describe all this, and Mahaprabhu would meditate on this and weep and weep and weep and weep. For years and years in the Gambhira, feeling the moods of separation Srimati Radhika felt when Krishna left Vrindavan. As Srimati Radhika never left Uddhav Keri, except for that Kurukshetra once, she would just stay there for years, decades and decades. Everyone in Vrindavan would come and offer pranams to her. Even Chandravali would come and take shelter of Srimati Radhika and glorify her supreme love. So Mahaprabhu was experiencing her moods in Gambhira, and he said, oh Rupa, oh Sanatan, oh Raghunath Das, go and distribute this. He also went to South India. Why? To collect Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Guna Manjari, and Prabodhana Saraswati Pad, Tunga Vidya Saki. Why? Bring them all together and establish this Swarup Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Parampara. So this is just the very beginning. I'll conclude with one story, just the taste. Just like Mahaprabhu went to Ram Kaligram instead of Vrindavan. Why? Vrindavan is, Radharani told Krishna, Vrindavan is my heart. Imagine without Radha Krishna, where is Vrindavan? If we were to say, take all the temples and all the deities of Radha Krishna and all the signs Radha Radha, and it's just the land. And take away Jamuna, take away Govardhan. Is it Vrindavan? Take away Seva Kunj, take away Nidivan, take away all the 7 Goswamis temples, take away all the other Brajmandal. Is it Vrindavan? So Radharani said to Krishna, Vrindavan is actually my heart. When Krishna wanted to come to earth, he said, oh, Radharani, you should come. And she said, only if Vrindavan comes. I won't come and I won't leave Vrindavan. Vrindavan is my heart. If Govardhan is there, if Jamuna is there, Brinda, all the 12 forests, 54 forests, then I will come. Why? Vrindavan is my heart. She said, you saw what happened when I was Sita? You want me to go back to the earth? No, I won't. I will stay in Vrindavan. So, Vrindavan is Srimati Radhika's heart. So when Lord Chaitanya was going to Vrindavan, how will he go to Vrindavan? How will he understand? He was in Vrindavan for 3 or 4 days. He almost became Krishna again. Imli Tala, he was chanting Radhe, 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 and he was again becoming Sham color. That's not what he came to do. He didn't come to become Krishna again. He came to understand the glory of Srimati Radhika, her love, the happiness she experiences in him. Therefore, he has to take shelter of the manjaris. So he comes to Ramkeli to take shelter of who reflects the heart of Srimati Radhika. That is Rupa Manjari, Rati Manjari, Lavanga Manjari. They reflect her hearts, her moods. They're so tadatmik, so one at heart with her, that Tadbhavichami is so absorbed in her that Gurudev says, If Radhika is experiencing joy, her moods, they experience. If she's feeling sadness, they experience. Even the marks of Krishna's meeting with Srimati Radhika reflect on their transcendental form. That's how connected they are at heart. That in existence, there's no deeper oneness of heart than there is between the manjaris and Srimati Radhika. You cannot become more one at heart. And in our line, because we are given that path, that opportunity, those who are aspiring for that, those who are genuinely seeking that, they have that pure greed for that, tatra lolyam, that spiritual desire, then they begin with Guru Pada Padma. That's why we say, Guru Mukha Padamakvakya Chittete Kuriyaika Arna Kuriyamanayas. May my heart and mind not hold anything but my Guru's words and his teachings, his desire. Karuna na hoile kandiya kandiya prana nara ki bawar. Gurudev, if you do not give me your mercy, weeping and weeping, I will give up my life. Shri Guru Charane Rati Eseyu Tamagati, attachment to your lotus feet leads me to the highest destination. Why? This is our parampara and our training. So therefore, when we sing Shri Guru Charana Padma, that leads ultimately to Shri Rupa Manjari Pada. Same parampara, same line. How to become tadatmik, how to become tat-tat bhavit shamai. And that is how the whole wealth of Gurudev comes to you. Right? If you become one at heart with somebody, so deeply close, even in this world it becomes like that, right? Husband and wife. All your assets become one. Right? And your children, all your assets when the husband and wife leave, everything, Pavit's eyes are opening up. Everything goes to the children. Right? Wow.
Mine, oh mine.
Okay? So, Gurudev, all his wealth, he's waiting to give. But you have to come, how can I become one with your heart? How can I become Gurudev, Kripa Bindu Diya, give me a drop of your mercy. What is that real drop of your mercy? So I've been meditating on this to really realize the legacy of Srila Gurudev. That temple will manifest in our heart. The temple of Srila Gurudev, service to the divine couple. And Gurudev indicated that very sweetly in this beautiful painting, Seva Kunj. Gurudev said, "Oh dear Shamarani Didi, can you paint my heart?" How can I paint your heart? You are Mahabhagavat. How can I paint your heart? He said, "Oh, no problem. I will guide your hand." And he made this beautiful scene. And Gurudev is the only acharya that we know of who commissioned a painting of his own swarup. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, before him, revealed his name, the color of his dress, in his song. He said, Kamala Manjarinam, Sarib Dvadasa Varsha. He described his cloth, some symptoms of Ekadas Bhav. But Gurudev said, Gurudev knows. In this world, everyone needs so much help, so much mercy. And also in Mahaprabhu's mood now, this is going out to the West. Gurudev is such an acharya that, he expertly planted the seeds of these desires in people who, who knows in our genetic and soul history when we had this understanding. Probably millions and millions and millions and millions of years. I know, for me, who knows? How long? But Gurudev planted this seed and said, no, all my wealth is your wealth. Right? What is the evidence for that? Lord Chaitanya tells a story to Sanatana Goswami. He's meeting with Lavanga Manjari saying, I will tell you a sweet story. He's teaching Bhakti Siddhanta. What is Bhakti Tattva? What is Jiva Tattva? And he says, oh, Sanatan, you know this story? There was a young boy, but he was like an orphan. He had lost his parents. And he was living hand to mouth, barely surviving. But one day a very kind astrologer came. A very kind person came through that village and saw this boy and felt compassion and sat with him. This is like Shiksha Guru. Shiksha Guru role. He said, do you know what your father left you? Like what Swami Prabhupada left us, the wealth he left us? How can we realize that? The highest way to glorify and serve his legacy, maintain the service in all his temples and establish more temples, and establish the temples of his moods and his hearts and his wealth of his heart in our heart. If that is there, then that's the living current. So the astrologers told this boy, your father left everything for you, but he wanted you to come of age to properly understand what that is, to be able to realize it and properly utilize it. And so Mahaprabhu says, don't search in the south, don't search in the west, don't search in the north. I'm summarizing. Search in the east and just dig a little bit and you'll find it. That means I tell people, bhakti, sadhana, 64 rounds, doing this, doing that, 16. Yes, do the sadhana, do the Vaidhi bhakti. Everything is so important. What is our most important Vaidhi rule? How can I serve the moods of my Gurudev? How can I understand the heart of my Gurudev? Therefore, if we're chanting 16 rounds, we should also be chanting those rounds with the mood of Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya, Shri Guru Charana Padma. Oh Gurudev, when will you reveal your Swarup in my heart? When will you reveal my Swarup in my heart? When will you give me my seva? When will I? Then I can go back home, back to Godhead. All that wealth is waiting, but we have to make our hearts one. Gurudev, Koro More Atma Sat, make my heart one with yours. Make my heart one with yours. Gurudev, how can I serve you? So to finish on the glories of Rupa Manjari, in Vilap Kusumanjali, first verse, Raghunath Das Goswami is glorifying his Guru Manjari, Guru Saki, saying, oh, I'm not going to tell the whole story, but where does this mark come on your lip? I'm sorry, this is a very high topic, but you're all very, very senior devotees. And today is Srila Rupa Goswami's Tirubhav Tithi, so we're glorifying him. So Gurudev said this comes from two sources. One is, anytime the manjaris become so absorbed in how to please and serve Srimati Radhika, and they're so one at heart with her, that in the spiritual dimension, the body and the soul are not different. It's the main distinction between this material world and the spiritual world. This goes into a lot of philosophy. The main distinction between the material world and the spiritual world is that world is made of material, inert matter, jad. It's not alive, it's inert. But the jiva is making it animated. The soul is animating this world. So it's experiencing through the bodies, through like as a third party almost. Right? In the spiritual world, it's not like that. The souls and the forms are their moods and their experience. So when their transcendental form is so absorbed in Srimati Radhika that her experience is reflecting on their form. Because they're one at heart. So therefore it's said, as Krishna is meeting with Srimati Radhika, Sukha Pungavena, Rati Manjari is asking Rupa Manjari, oh, you are known to be very chaste in Braj. Your husband is out of town. How is it that there's a cut on your lip? Perhaps the most expert of parrots has bitten your lips, your bimba fruit-like lips, mistaking it to be a bimba fruit. This is the verse. Perhaps mistaking it to be a bimba fruit, very reddish complexion like lipstick color, bimba fruit red. Perhaps the parrot has bitten. So Gurudev describes this pastime in two ways. First, he says, oh, this is like Krishna meeting with Sri Radha and reflecting on Sri Rupa Manjari. And then he said, also, this is described in his Vilap Kusumanjali book, Gurudev's own commentary. You can listen to the audio. He says, one time Srimati Radhika said to one friend, oh, go to Mani Manjari and indirectly tell her that Radharani wants her to meet with Krishna. And Mani Manjari says, no. I am so happy. I have no desire. Why would I take a lesser happiness? I serve you. My only interest is yours. Anything else is a lesser happiness. Kabunahi Herikami. Manjaris have no interest whatsoever in meeting with Krishna. This is Manjari Tattva 101. There's a verse. Shri Krishna Sangami Kabunahi. They have no interest whatsoever. None. So Mani Manjari says like that, oh Radhe, she's teasing me. I have no interest whatsoever. So Gurudev said that's why Radharani has so much faith also in her manjaris. I said one time, and this is in the second verse, Stala Kamalini, second verse, Vilap Kusumanjali. Radharani says, oh, go and see the special qualities of Rupa Manjari, how we glorify Rupa Goswami. Priya Swarupe, Dhaita Swarupe, Prema Swarupe, Sahaja Birupe, Nijanurupe, Prabhureka Rupe, Tatanurupe, Swavilasa Rupe. Oh, Rupa. She is so pure in her heart and mood that completely appears like one with Srimati Radhika, that you cannot tell the difference. In the same way, Rupa Goswami appears like one with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His complexion, his features looks like Mahaprabhu. Priya Swarupe, Nijanurupe. Nijanurupe means like the same. Nijanurupe is also quoted. Tabirya Rupa Nija Tayakalabi in Brahma Samhita. That means Srimati Radhika, it said she is the creeper of divine love, embracing the tree of Sri Krishna, and all her Sakhis and Manjaris are like the flowers blooming on her divine form, enhancing the sweetness of their pastimes. So, Krishna goes, it said Krishna is like a bee. And normally, the bee goes to each flower, but it said in this case, he's searching, the bee is searching for that special lotus flower, land lotus. That's how it's described, second verse. And he's looking, and Srimati Radhika sent him to see the glories of her maidservants and how much nishta they have. If Krishna were to go to any gopi, they would in a moment succumb to him. They could not hold back from Krishna for a millisecond. But if Krishna approaches Srimati Radhika's manjaris, they immediately start to rebuke him and chastise him. Hat, Durta, Lampat, Jao, get out, don't disturb me. So much that even they won't even speak with him. And they're very fierce and very strong. They'll chastise, they'll say, Krishna, we will dress you as a gopi and put a clay pot on your head and throw rocks at you. Don't come near us. Beware. When Srimati Radhika's man is very strong and she wants to hold her contrary mood for a long time, she won't let Krishna come near her, and she'll have many dozens and dozens of manjaris as check posts for Krishna to pass. One after another, one after another, one after another. Krishna cannot even get past the first one. Therefore he says, Yat kinkari shubhausha kaluka kuvani nityang parasya purushasya sikarta moli tasyakadara senidir brishabhana jayas tat keli kunja bhavanangana marjanisham. Prabodhananda Saraswati's pod is praying. Tunga Vidyasaki is praying. It's a very interesting verse. Tunga Vidyasaki is praying, when can I become like a stick in the broom sweeping Radha Kunj, your Kunj Radharani? Why? Because Krishna is holding his ears and bowing in front of your manjaris. Tunga Vidyasaki is praying with this verse. Sometimes people say, Prabodhananda Saraswati Pati Tunga Vidyasaki. How is he praying like manjari mood? Why? He's glorifying the manjaris, in that, giving that position. So, Krishna goes to Rupa Manjari and he becomes bewildered. Why? Priya Surupe, Dhaita Surupe, Nijana Rupe, Prabhureka Rupe, becomes bewildered. Her heart is so at one with Srimati Radhika that Krishna becomes astonished. And he goes to approach as Radharani, and it said as soon as he comes close, like that parent, trying to approach, immediately Rupa Manjari becomes so angry and so shy and so disturbed. She immediately runs faster than the wind, and finds Srimati Radhika in her kunj, and Srimati Radhika covers her with her shawl. Says, don't worry, I won't let Krishna disturb you. Don't worry, we won't let Krishna disturb you. So, Srila Rupa Goswami Pad ki jai. There's so many glories. He's published so many transcendental literature, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Ujjvala Nilamani, so many unlimited books, so many beautiful teachings. But Gurudev would say, we should not only understand the glories in what we can see, the height of the glories, what he's accomplished, we should see the depth of his glories, and that's what is internal. So, like Krishna, this is the point I want to make. Like Krishna was searching Rupa Manjari to see the glories of Srimati Radhika reflected through her, in the same way, Mahaprabhu is searching for Rupa Goswami and saying, please distribute this glory. That's why we're called Swarup Rupanuga guru-varga. That we are Gaudiya Sampradaya. But Lord Chaitanya, he cannot give this directly. He is engaging all the Goswamis, all our guru-varga, and they're all reflecting these moods. Guru Tattva means Guru is reflecting the moods of whoever they hold most dear in their heart. That's Guru Tattva. Guru Purnima, Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. When will that full moon of good fortune rise? That means Guru Purnima means when will that personality whose heart is completely one with his Ishtadev, the sun. What is the moon doing? Reflecting the light of the sun. So that Guru is, so some Gurus are reflecting Krishna light, Krishna sun. Some are reflecting Srimati Radhika's moods. Some are reflecting Guru Vargas. So we are praying to all our eternal Guru Vargas, all Srila Rupa Goswami Pad, for their causeless mercy, that may they accept us in their shelter life after life after life. Srila Bhaktivendanta Prabhupada, he told all his disciples, his final teaching to his disciples is, you should all come together under the shelter of Rupa Raghunath. Kaviraj Goswami, in the end of every chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, says, Rupa Raghunatha Pade Jaras, Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahi Krishna Das. Narottam Das Thakur says, Rupa Raghunatha Pade Hoi Beakuti Kavi Hama Bujaboshi Jugala Piriti. So, in the same way, we pray to our Guru Pada Padma. Bhaktivendanta Prabhupada said, Adadanas Trinam Dhante Idam Yache Puna Puna Shriman Rupa Padam Boja Dulisad Janmani Janmani. Life after life after life after life. I only pray to take the dust, the lotus feet of Sri Rupa with a straw between my teeth. I'm praying for that. Jai Jai Shri. Radhe Shri.